Chapter 12, Lecture 3. This is about Mary of England. This is where we're going to start. However, I would like to start with her father, Henry VIII, and his wife, Catherine of Aragon. Catherine of Aragon is the daughter of Isabel I and Ferdinand. Okay. Now Mary of England, as you can imagine, with a Spanish mother, is going to be extremely Catholic. She was very hostile to Protestants and executes a great number of Protestant leaders. Hundreds are burned at the stake and others flee to the continent. So what does that do? That pushes more Protestants into the continent of Europe. She marries into a militant Catholicism by wedding Philip II of Spain. Remember, Philip II of Spain, Catholic, 1, and 2, was the king at the highest level of the Spanish Empire. Here's a portrait of Mary that was painted for her by a Spanish artist. This was probably a present to her from Philip II. Now Elizabeth, her sister, Mary dies, and now Elizabeth becomes the Queen of England. Elizabeth played a fundamentally important role in the history of England as a ruler for over 40 years. First of importance, she's a female. Okay? Second of importance is that she stopped all the religious differences and created tolerance. So she settled religious difference by merging broadly defined Protestant doctrine with traditional Catholic ritual, later resulting in the Anglican Church. So she made the two sides compromise. All anti-Protestant legislation was repealed that her sister had made in the 39 articles issued in 1563, making moderate Protestantism the official religion of the Church of England. So while Protestant is the official religion, she wasn't set out to persecute Catholics. Animosity grows between England and Spain over dominance of the seas. This is a portrait of Elizabeth. This is another portrait. And this is a picture of the theater, which would end up being very similar to the Globe Theater of Shakespearean time. Elizabethan theater is known for Shakespearean plays and kind of the birth of plays that are really important in the history of England. Okay. Catholic versus Protestant extremists. Radical Catholics wanted Elizabeth out, and so they made a deal with Mary Stuart, the Queen of Scots, and the Protestants, who wanted to purify the church of any popery, had two grievances about Elizabeth: the retention of Catholic ceremony in the Church of England and the continuation of the episcopal system of church governments. Presbyterians were Puritans, a creation of an alternative national church of semi-autonomous congregations governed by representative presbyteries. More extreme Puritans, Congregationalists, wanted every congregation to be autonomous. That means by itself, without any centralized type of governance of church. Now Mary, the Queen of Scots, was a Catholic ruler of Scotland, who was later forced to abdicate the throne and flee England and her cousin Elizabeth I. Elizabeth, who has Mary close under house arrest for the fear of a Catholic England uprising, uncovers two plots against her life, most notably by the Catholics. Mary is compliant with the assassination attempts and is executed by Elizabeth. This is one of the few times that Elizabeth actually executes someone. She's an extremely merciful queen. But this particular person, her cousin, had to be executed to make a show of not making an assassination attempt. And it ended all Catholic hopes of a bloodless reconciliation with Protestant England and leads to the invasion of the Spanish Armada. Now, the defeat of the Spanish Armada, which symbolizes the end of France as a world power, Spain as a world power, and the emergence of France as a world power. Sir Francis Drake of England shells the Spanish port of Cadiz and raids Portugal, delaying the invasion of the Spanish Armada. A huge Spanish fleet of 130 ships and 25,000 sailors is crushed by the swifter defending British Navy. 1/3 of the Armada never returned to Spain. That's a huge number of ships. That's over 40 ships did not even return. Protestant resistance is everywhere and has given hope, and Spain is never again a world power. And that ends this session, session 3.